Good morning and the warmest of welcomes to a beautiful morning here in Bangkok. Guys and girls, in this video we're going to be reviewing Air India aboard their A320neo on a flight from Mumbai through to Bangkok. The duration is going to be just over 4 hours. It's going to be my very first time featuring Air India on the channel, so let's hop aboard. You'll join me back in Mumbai and we'll see what the transit experience is like, and of course what the experience is like in the air. Let's do it. Welcome to Mumbai. That was an interesting transit experience, particularly late night here. There was a bit of a clearance process for passengers and it wasn't quite as smooth as you might expect transiting through many of the world's largest hubs. For now, I've got around a 5 or 6 hour gap until my next flight, so I'm going to check out the transit hotel here, going to have a little look at the lounges. The airport so far does look pretty impressive, so yeah, let's check it out. Now, I'll talk a little bit more into the transit experience a little bit later on into the video, but overall, in terms of Mumbai International Airport, I really liked it. It had lots of familiar retailers. It was nicely laid out. If curry is your thing and you really wanted to try a little bit of curry during your time perhaps transiting India, then there were plenty of opportunities for that. Of course, flying the business class, as we are in this particular review, I was heading straight for the lounge, and it was to be the Adani lounge that was laid on by Air India on that evening. Heading into the lounge, truth be told, I was a little bit skeptical. This wasn't a dedicated Air India lounge as far as I could tell, and my experience in these generic lounges across the world has never been particularly positive. So often a little bit basic and very, very busy. Heading into this lounge, it was definitely on the more busy side. We'll check out a few bits now. I was, however, quite keen to check out the transit hotel. I was actually transiting across India for 5 or 6 hours, so that was something that I was keen to do. So we'll head off for that in just a moment. I'll give you an insight into that, then we'll head back to the lounge and do it in far more detail when it's got a little bit quieter. Now, I did have a quick look at the transit hotel. The walk-up rate, best price I could get it to, was about £70. Now, I'm only here for 4 hours or so now, so it wasn't really worth it at that price. I'm going to head back to the lounge if they've got showers, but otherwise I think the lounge should be plenty nice enough. If you were here a little bit longer, I think that probably wouldn't be bad for a transit hotel. It definitely looks quite nice from the website itself, but for now, I'll head back to the lounge and we'll check out a little bit more inside. Arriving back into the lounge, I actually indulged with a visit to the spa. It's so rare that you see full spa facilities in airport lounges, and I actually opted for one of their longer massage treatments. It was a really nice way to relax between flights. From there, it was then a good time to head on into the main catering area. They had a bit of a buffet hall. It was a decent selection overall, lots of hot drinks, cold drinks, smoothies, hot food, cold food on offer. Like I said before, if you were keen to try one of India's famous curry dishes, there were definitely a good few options there. After that time, the lounge was just starting to thin out, and it was a good time to find one of the many quieter and more comfortable seating areas to chill out for a few hours. Quick word on that transit experience. Everything was a little bit old-fashioned here. There was a lady at the desk entering all the passport details and boarding pass details just into a big logbook. What I would say is that make sure if you are transiting through Mumbai that you've got your boarding pass physical in advance. It's a typical thing when you check in for a flight through to a final destination. They'll give you the various different boarding passes that you'll need to get there, but do just make sure that that's the case, because I think without it tonight it could have caused quite a bit of additional delay. By this time, we were well into the early hours of the morning, and there was just enough time to grab a quick shower and indeed freshen up before jumping aboard this red-eye flight across to Bangkok. Overall, I was very impressed with the bathroom facilities, nice marble overviews, and the shower was definitely very welcome indeed. So, without further ado, let's head on down to the boarding gate and we'll jump on board and see what life is like with Air India. Alrighty, so excellent time at the lounge, heading down to the gate at the moment. Should say before we go any further, if this is your first time tuning into the channel, I've got so much more similar content from all types of different airlines onto the channel that I upload weekly. So if this sort of content is your thing, hit that subscribe button and YouTube will help you keep fully up to date with it. For now, let's jump on board and see what business class is like with Air India. Now sadly, as I headed on down the air bridge, there was a last bit of transit drama. Unfortunately, I didn't have quite the right stamp on my boarding pass, so there was a big hold up. So unfortunately, when I got to the cabin, it was very busy, so I didn't get the usual panning shots of the cabin. we'll wait until after we land, and you'll see a few of those just here coming through. In terms of the cabin itself, retro would have been the order of the day. The seats were old, they were lacking in much functionality in terms of sleeping, which was a real shame on that evening, and overall it wasn't a particularly impressive start to my journey with them. I did manage to bag the first seat into the cabin. Had I been a little bit further back, to be honest, can't quite believe I'm saying this in a business class review, legroom would have been tight, so if you are flying with them, I would indeed recommend that first seat right up against the bulkhead. I'm pleased to report, however, that there were individual air vents and also overhead lighting, and the service was then starting to come around. I kicked things off with this banana cinnamon smoothie, and I must say it was absolutely fantastic. It's just one of those little things that would almost make you fly with an airline. Again, I do like these concepts of the signature drinks. They really do go down very nicely indeed. Following them, there was then either a hot or cold towel to choose from, and we were very shortly pushing back. I must say, with Air India, the service from start to finish was absolutely wonderful, and it did go an awfully long way to making up for some of those shortcomings that we've already discovered when it came to the seating. As we take to the skies, we'll kick things off with a quick look at the bathrooms. Like everything else physical on board this aircraft, it was pretty old and tired. Not very impressive, but of course that is following suit with the rest of the cabin. In terms of the flight itself, I then got a few hours rest. It was very broken given the quality and indeed comfort of the seating overnight. Not particularly good on that front, but it was then time to wake up for breakfast. I was really impressed with the number of options they had. To be honest with you, I couldn't quite face a curry at that time in the morning. It was around 6 a.m. time on board, but overall, in terms of the menus, it was a very impressive overview, so I was looking forward to getting into a little bit of breakfast. Once again, credit where credit is due. On the drinks front, I think Air India do particularly well. It was great to see Laurent Perrier champagne offered, in addition to a wide-ranging choice of wines for what was a regional business class flight. Thumbs up on this particular front. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what the muesli selection with them is like. This was accompanied with a yogurt, some fresh fruit, and also a rather odd looking croissant that we'll jump into in just a moment. Now, talking of said croissant, this was the menu item that I chose to sample for you live on video, so let's give that one a go. Yeah, to be honest, it was pretty vile and not something that I'd be too keen to come back to. After the breakfast service, there was then another round of hot or cold towels. Should say, as part of the sleep-in amenities, there was a nice blanket that was provided, so that was a decent little touch. It was nice always when it comes to business class flights to wake up to a nice towel as well. Now on the entertainment front, sadly, there was nothing just here. No seatback entertainment screens, and indeed also no Wi-Fi provided on board. This was pretty bad and something that they really need to look at. So overall, with Air India, very good service, some decent food and beverage offerings, but really a very tired cabin and something they need to update. Would love to hear your thoughts below. Otherwise, all that's left for me to say is to thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in another one next week.